Hello everyone. Our today's topic is bioinorganic chemistry. So in this topic we are going to discuss about the inorganic metals, inorganic elements other than carbon. What is the role of those metals and non-metals in our living organisms, and we'll discuss about the porphyrins and structure and functions of hemoglobin and structure and functions of chlorophyll. So let us move to the topic. So biochemistry majorly deals with the chemical reactions which are happening in the living organisms, right? So here in living organisms, generally the percentage of carbon compounds which are present in our human body or in any living organisms, it's around 90%, right? So the remaining 10% is inorganic compounds, right? But as the inorganic percentage is only 10%, but the importance of this inorganic elements or the inorganic compounds is similar to the importance of carbon compounds which are present in the living organisms as 90%. So right. So though the percentage of this inorganic compounds is less, but the importance of this inorganic elements or inorganic compounds would be similar to the 90% organic compounds which are present here in this, right? So around as we know, there are so many elements, right? So but out of that, around 40 chemical elements which are participate in biological reactions as well as metabolisms in our living organisms, right? Out of those 40 elements, so majorly the 25 elements are having so much of importance, which takes a major role in our human body as well as in living organisms. So the elements which are required for our metabolic process are classified into two types. One is essential elements and non-essential elements. So one is essential means which are required compulsory, which are required necessarily. So those are essential elements. So the second one is non-essential elements. Based on the quantity of the inorganic elements which are required for our metabolic process are classified into two types. One is macro elements, the second one is micro elements. Macro elements and micro elements means the elements which are required in large quantities. So those are called macro elements, and the elements which are required in small quantities. So those are called micro elements. So here micro elements are some more classified into some trace elements. So those are required in very traces amount, very lesser amount. So those are called trace elements. Micro elements are one more are trace elements, right? So many of these are like so the essential elements, so that is macro or micro elements, majority of these elements are metallic elements and some are non-metallic elements. Majority of these elements are metallic elements and some other are non-metallic elements. So what are the elements which are required for our metabolic process? So those are metals, that is sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, copper, zinc, molybdenum, tin. So these are the major elements. Around 13 metal elements are required for the metabolic reactions in our living organisms. And the second one is non-metals. So those are hydrogen, copper, silicon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, sulfur, selenium, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine. So these are 12. So these are the 12 non-metals which are required. So these 13 plus 12, around 25 major elements which are required for the different kind of metabolic reactions in the living organisms. So if you take the percentage of different compounds in a human body, so as an adult with 65 kg, like this. So here the carbon is present around 50%, the next one is oxygen 20%, hydrogen 10%, nitrogen 8.5%, calcium 4.5%, phosphorus 2.5%, potassium 1%, sulfur 0.8, sodium 0.4, chlorine 0.4, magnesium 0.1, iron 0.01, and manganese 0.001, and iodine is 0.0005. So these are the different percentage of elements which are present in our human body. So in that majorly the carbon around 50%, the next one is oxygen 20%, hydrogen is 10%. So this is what is the percentage of different elements which are present in our human body, right. So now we will see the functions of sodium, potassium, and chloride ions. Sodium present as sodium plus ion, potassium is present as potassium K plus ion, and chloride, that is chlorine, is present as Cl minus ion, right. So these majorly whatever the ions, that is sodium, potassium, chlorine ions, elements which are obtained through our food, right. So sodium is obtained in the form of common salt, that is NaCl, right. So through NaCl we will be getting sodium as well as Na plus ion as well as Cl minus, that is chloride ion. And here potassium is obtained through coffee, cocoa, beans, green leafy vegetables like spinach, right, milk, fish, meat. So these are the major sources of potassium, right. So here people are so generally we may not observe the deficiency of sodium, but people who are suffering from blood pressure, kidney diseases, heart diseases, so we can observe the sodium deficiency. So in that kind of persons we will observe the deficiency of sodium, right. So majorly as we are observing here sodium plus and potassium plus and Cl minus, as these are charged ions automatically, so these acting as charge carriers in different reactions in our metabolic processes. This sodium, potassium, and chloride ions are acting as charge carriers. So these ions are participating in the control of osmotic pressures of different fluids. These control the osmotic pressures of different fluids. So here nerves are consisting of sensory activity, right. So these ions, that is sodium, potassium ions, are the preservating the sensory character of nerves, and these ions control the muscular actions. Muscular actions are also controlled by the sodium and potassium ions. So these sodium and potassium ions are combining with weak acids, and so that they form salts as well as weak acids. So it creates buffer solutions. So sodium, Na plus ion, and potassium plus ions are combining with the weak acids and forming salts, so that buffer solutions are prepared. So this buffer solutions are stabilizes the pH of different fluids in our human body. Because of this buffer solutions which are prepared by the sodium and potassium ions are responsible for the stabilization of pH of different fluids in the human body, right. And also these ions, this sodium, potassium ions are stabilize the viscosity of blood, and here we know the digestive fluid, that is HCl. So in the production of this digestive fluid HCl, this sodium and potassium ions are also useful in the formation of HCl. So here sodium and potassium ions are useful for the formation of bile as well as the pancreatic juice from pancreas. So these ions are also helpful in the transportation of CO2 from the tissues to respiratory organs. In the preservation of proteins in glands and glycogen, these sodium, potassium and Cl minus ions plays a major role in the preserving of proteins. Right. So, the next one is importance of magnesium. So, magnesium Mg+2 ions are present as central metal ions in the chlorophyll. So, as we know, chlorophyll is a green pigment which is present in the leaves. So, this chlorophyll is used in the photosynthesis reaction. So, that is 6CO2 plus XH2O in the presence of light and chlorophyll. This is converted to carbohydrates plus 6 oxygens, right. So, this is the photosynthesis reaction. So, in this photosynthesis reaction, chlorophyll plays a major role, right. So, this chlorophyll is consisting of Mg+2 ion is a central metal ion. So, here chlorophyll is acting as a photosensitizer, right. So, here Mg+2 ions are also helping in the propagation of nerve impulses. These Mg+2 ions are also helps in the propagation of nerve impulses. So, generally deficiency of magnesium may not leads to any particular diseases, but magnesium is required in small quantities, but deficiency of magnesium leads to deficiency of other important elements. The next one is importance of calcium +2, right. As we know, calcium +2 or calcium is very essential for the development of bones for our human body, right. So, the deficiency of calcium +2 leads to rickets disease. So, rickets disease is related to weakened bones, right. So, rickets disease is the majorly from the deficiency of Cl2 plus ions. Rickets disease is majorly from the deficiency of calcium +2 ions, right. So, here calcium +2 ions are also enhance the enzyme activity of carbohydrate metabolism, right. So, while the metabolism of carbohydrates taking place, this calcium +2 improves the enzymatic activity, right. In as the calcium +2 is present in the ionic form, right. So, in majority of the hormone reactions, this ion acts as messenger. This calcium +2 acts as messenger. Calcium +2 ions are very useful in the contraction of muscles as well as in the clotting of blood. This is one of the important point, as calcium +2 ions are useful for the contraction of muscles and in the clotting of blood. Next is importance of iron, Fe. So, as we know, Fe+2 ions are present in the hemoglobin. So, this Fe+2 is the central metal ion in the hemoglobin as well as in the other hemes. Iron is one of the important element for the production of red blood cells. Iron is very important as in the form of blood, as we know. So, deficiency of iron leads to anemia. So, anemia leads to so many further diseases, right. So, this iron as present in the hemoglobin, which is very helpful in the transportation of oxygen from the respiratory organs to the tissues, right. So, this also useful in the storage of oxygen in the muscles as well as in the tissues. This iron atom is very useful for the transportation of oxygen as well as the storage of oxygen in the muscles as well as the tissues. So, the next one is importance of cobalt. So, cobalt is present in the vitamin B12, that is cyanocobalamin, right. So, cobalt is the central metal ion, that is CO+3 is the central metal ion present in vitamin B12, right. So, CO+2 ions are very useful in the production of blood like iron. So, iron is the major element which is required for the production of red blood cells. So, here also this cobalt +2 is also one of the required element for the production of red blood cells. Anemia in children can be treated with the cobalt supplements. So, by using cobalt supplements we can treat the anemia in children. So generally deficiency of vitamin B12 leads to weakness, nerve damage and effect of our memory. So these are the major problems with the deficiency of vitamin B12, right. The next one is importance of nickel. So here nickel is present as Na+2 in the urease enzyme. So urease enzyme is a very important enzyme which hydrolyzes the urea to ammonia as well as carbonic acid. So for this reaction the nickel plus 2 ion is a very essential element, right. So in the urease hydrolysis, here several types of bacteria also containing nickel atoms as hydrogenases, right. So this is majorly used for the hydrogenation reaction, right. So these bacteria or this nickel containing hydrogenase enzymes are catalyzed of this reaction, that is 2H2 plus O2, that is gives rise to H2O. So in the formation of water, so whatever the oxygen which is available can be converted into water by using hydrogenase enzyme which is consisting of nickel atoms, right. So here Ni+3 ions, so Ni+3 ions plays a very important role in the reduction of SO4-2 ion and also in the production of methane, as well as in the reduction of SO4-2 ions. Next one is importance of copper ions. So copper ions majorly present in different type of cytochromes, right. So and also in different enzymes, right. So here copper plus 2 ions are very essential for the reactivity of cytochromes. So this this copper is very necessary for the action of cartilase and ascorbate oxidase enzymes. Okay. So these cartilase and ascorbate oxidase are the enzymes. So for this action the copper plus 2 ions are very essential elements. So in adults copper plus 2 is present in the 100 milligrams. So copper is required very in small amounts, but in large quantities if it is present it functions as a toxic element. So when we consume copper in large quantities it is a toxic element. And Cu, copper is bound to proteins, so those are called metalloproteins. So when copper is bound to proteins, those are called metalloproteins. Deficiency of copper leads to following diseases. As we know that copper is one of the essential element of different enzymes. So these are the enzymes which are consisting of copper, that is lysine oxidase, dopamine hydroxylase, tyrosinase and ceruloplasmin. So these are the enzymes which are consisting of copper plus 2 ion is one of the important ion. So in lysine oxidase, which is acting as so when lysine oxidase enzyme is not working, so that erotic walls lose their elasticity. Okay. So dopamine hydroxylase, so dopamine hydroxylase is not working properly, so then brain function diminishes. And tyrosinase, so because of tyrosinase enzyme problem, skin color changes. Ceruloplasmin obstructs the iron metabolism, So these are the major diseases which are coming through the deficiency of copper atoms. The next one is importance of zinc. So here zinc plus 2 ion majorly present in different kind of enzymes. So zinc plus 2 ions are present in carboxypeptidase A and peptide hydrolysis, right. So here, so this zinc ion is very useful for the balancing of HCO3 minus as well as CO2 for the. Next is the enzymes which are consisting of zinc plus 2, that is carboxy anhydrase, carboxypeptidase, kidney phosphatase. These are the major enzymes. So zinc is also present in insulin, right? So in the diabetic patients, so the zinc amount is reduced to half. So these are the importance of zinc. The next one is metal porphyrins. So here colored proteins are called as chromoproteins. Chromo means color, right? So the proteins which are containing of color are called as chromoproteins. So here, so how the proteins will get the color, right? So proteins may not be having any color, but because of the presence of other group, these proteins will get the color. So those are called prosthetic groups. So because of the presence of prosthetic groups, the proteins are consisting of color. So those are called chromoproteins. So here, so in porphyrins, so pyrrole rings are joined with each other with methylene groups. So these are called as porphyrins. So in porphyrins, 4 pyrrole rings are joined with methylene, that is CH2 groups. So now we will see the structure of porphyrin. So observe here, this is the structure of pyrrole. It is a heterocyclic 5-membered ring, right? So here 4 pyrrole rings. This is one. Okay, this is the first pyrrole ring. This is the second pyrrole ring. This is the third pyrrole ring. This is the fourth pyrrole ring. So these 4 pyrrole rings are joined with CH2, that is methylene, either CH or CH2, methylene groups. So this structure is called as porphyrin structure. Porphyrin structure. So in this, 4 pyrrole rings are joined with the methylene groups, right? So here the porphyrin ring which are consisting of 4 methyl, that is 4 CH3 groups, and 2 vinyl groups, that is CH2 double bond CH, and 2 propionic acid groups. So those are called protoporphyrins. So the porphyrin rings which are consisting of 4 methyl groups, right, and 2 vinyl groups, and 2 propionic acid groups, 2 propionic acid groups. So these are called protoporphyrins. So this is the structure of protoporphyrin. So observe here. So this is a porphyrin ring. So to this we substituted here 4 methyl groups, right? So 4 pyrrole rings containing 4 methyl groups, one each, right? Here. So here 2 pyrrole rings consisting of 2 vinyl groups, and another 2 pyrrole ring are substituted with propanoic acid groups. So this is the structure of protoporphyrin. So here we will see the examples for chromoproteins which are present in our living organisms. So the first one is chromoproteins which are containing porphyrin ring, those are respiratory organs, that is hemoglobin, cytochromes, and heme enzymes. And non-respiratory, this is chlorophyll which is present in plants, right? And the chromoproteins which are not containing porphyrin ring, so those are hemoerythrins and hemocyanins. So these are respiratory functions, and non-respiratory, so those are keratinoproteins and metalloproteins. So these are the different chromoproteins which are present in our living organisms like plants as well as our human body. So these are respiratory, those are consisting of porphyrin ring, that is hemoglobin, cytochromes, hemoenzymes. Next is chlorophyll, and without porphyrin ring, those are hemoerythrins, hemocyanins, and non-respiratory, that is keratinoproteins and metalloproteins. So these all are the chromoproteins, right? The first one we are going to discuss, that is protoporphyrin, that is metalloporphyrins, that is hemoglobin, right? So hemoglobin is responsible for the red color of red blood cells, right? So hemoglobin is a combination of two things. One is prosthetic group heme and protein part globin. So hemoglobin consisting of two things. One is prosthetic group heme and protein part globin. So here the first one is heme. So heme is a porphyrin ring which is consisting of iron Fe+2 atom is the central metal atom, right. So Fe+2 atom is a central metal atom and with porphyrin ring, right. So here hemoglobin is a tetramer. Hemoglobin is a tetramer. That means, so this hemoglobin is bound to 4 heme units as well as 4 protein chains. So that's why it is called as tetramer, and also it is containing quaternary structure, right. So this is as the 4 protein chains are there which are binded to the 4 different heme groups. So that this hemoglobin is containing quaternary structure, right. So Fe+2 is the central metal atom which is present in the porphyrin ring in the hemoglobin. So this is the essential element for the heme. Fe+2 is the essential element for the hemoglobin, right. So this is the structure of hemoglobin, right. So just observe here. So there are 4 pyrrole rings, right, as we know this is a porphyrin structure. So here this is R, R, sorry, R. So these 4 alkyl groups, that is R groups, are methyl groups, right. The next one is R dash, and there is one more R dash, this. So these 2 are the vinyl groups, these 2 are the vinyl groups, and the R double dash, R double dash. So these 2 are the propanoic acid groups. So these 2 are the propanoic acid groups. So here 4 methyl groups are present. So that is here first position, third position, fifth position, and 8 position, right. So these are the 4 methyl groups, and 2 vinyl groups, that is at R dash, that is second place, as well as at fourth place, and 2 propanoic acid groups. So that is R double dash, so here sixth place as well as at seventh place, so right. So these are the alkyl groups which are present on porphyrin ring structure, right. So here this iron, the central metal atom iron Fe+2 is binded with 4 nitrogen atoms of 4 pyrrole rings. So total 4 nitrogen atoms are bonded with the Fe+2 atom. The fifth is binded with, that is R dash, and the sixth coordination is done by R double dash. The fifth coordination is by R dash. R dash is the nitrogen of imidazole histidine, nitrogen of imidazole histidine. So means this R dash coordination is also from the nitrogen atom, right. So that is the imidazole histidine nitrogen, and here the sixth coordination is done by R double dash, that is corresponds to either H2O or oxygen, either H2O or oxygen. So the sixth coordination in porphyrin ring structure of iron is through the H2O or oxygen. So if in the absence of oxygen, H2O will be at a sixth coordination point, right, means H2O will be bind to the iron atom as sixth coordinate element, right. So in the presence of oxygen, so the H2O will be replaced by the oxygen. So means the oxygen ligand is act as a sixth coordination for the iron in the presence of oxygen, right. So this is the structure of hemoglobin, and here the 4 nitrogen atoms are of 4 pyrrole rings are attached with the iron atom. The fifth coordination is done by the nitrogen atom of imidazole histidine, right, and the sixth coordination is from water or oxygen based on the availability of oxygen, right. So here in deoxyhemoglobin means in the absence of oxygen, So it is called deoxyhemoglobin. So in the deoxyhemoglobin, Fe plus 2 ions are present as paramagnetic nature, and in the oxyhemoglobin means when this hemoglobin is binded to the oxygen, so that is called oxyhemoglobin. In the oxyhemoglobin, Fe plus 2 is in the diamagnetic nature. Diamagnetic nature. So here hemoglobin is three types. One is adult hemoglobin, that is HbA, fetal hemoglobin, that is HbF, and sickle cell hemoglobin, that is HbS. So here all these hemoglobins, that is adult hemoglobin, fetal hemoglobin, and sickle cell hemoglobin are containing of same heme group, but there is a change in the globin protein. There is a change in the globin protein. So what is the change? So the globin protein will have the changes in the beta chain, right? So in HbA, so the sequence of amino acid present in the protein is valine, histidine, leucine, threonine, proline, and glutamic acid. So in HbF, fetal hemoglobin, that is same valine, histidine, leucine, threonine, proline, and at last lysine. So this is the sequence. So here lysine and here glutamic acid, and in the sickle cell hemoglobin, the last one is again valine. So here this is the change of beta chain of protein in the globin part. So in HbA, HbF as well as HbS. So this is the three different types of hemoglobin, right? So the functions of hemoglobin, right? So as we know, hemoglobin majorly used for the respiratory system, right? So in the transportation of oxygen in the respiratory system is the major function of hemoglobin. So in this respiration, the exchange of O2 and CO2 takes place, right? So this hemoglobin takes oxygen from the lungs and transport to the peripheral tissues, right? So here CO2 and H plus are transported from the peripheral tissues to the respiratory organs, and then it will be go for the exertion, right? So here CO2 will not bind to the hemoglobin, but CO2 will bind to the protein part of hemoglobin, and that will be transported from the tissues to the lungs through, so that it will be going for the exertion after going for the different organs, right? So here this hemoglobin is also transport the oxygen molecules to myoglobin, which is present in the tissues, and the oxygen will be stored in this myoglobins, right? So here whenever the pH changes, means whether pH increase or decrease, the hemoglobin loses its affinity of oxygen, So because of this reaction, that is carbonic acid, that is HCO3 minus will be going for H plus CO3 minus 2. So because of the releasing of H plus, so the pH is maintained, so that it is acting as a buffer. So that because of this reaction, the blood is buffered, so that pH would not be changed. So the affinity of oxygen for the hemoglobin will not get affected. So this is the reaction for maintaining the blood pH. So whenever carbon monoxide is available for the sixth coordination, so in the hemoglobin, as we had discussed, that the sixth coordination is done by oxygen whenever the availability of oxygen, so that oxygen will be bind to the iron atom, so that it will be transported from the lungs to tissues. But whenever the CO is available, so CO binds to the hemoglobin, iron atom of hemoglobin, so that So when carbon monoxide is available, so this carbon monoxide, that is CO, will bind to the iron plus 2 atom of hemoglobin, so that it forms carboxyhemoglobin, right. So this carboxyhemoglobin is very stable than oxyhemoglobin, right. So because of this stability of carboxyhemoglobin, so the hemoglobin loses its affinity for the oxygen, because as CO is already binded to the iron atom. So oxygen binding will not takes place, so that oxygen transportation from lungs to tissues would not happen. So this carbon monoxide disrupts the transportation of oxygen, so that it will act as a poison. So if it is continuous, it may lead to death also. So this is what is the effect of carbon monoxide on hemoglobin, that is because of the formation of carboxyhemoglobin, oxygen transportation would be stopped. So these are the major functions of hemoglobin. So in the metalloporphyrins, the second one we are going to discuss is chlorophyll. So here chlorophyll is a green pigment which is present in the green leaves, right, as we know. So here the green coloring matter of plants is called as chlorophyll. So here chlorophyll is two types, one is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So here also chlorophyll contains porphyrin ring, right. So that is nothing but tetrapyrrole ring. So here the Mg plus 2 ion, that is magnesium plus 2 ion is present as the central metal atom in chlorophyll. So the porphyrin ring is consisting of Mg plus 2 atom is the central metal atom. So here chlorophyll A absorbs the light radiation at 4300 angstroms, that is nothing but blue radiation, and chlorophyll B absorbs the light radiation at 6800 angstroms, that is red radiation. So chlorophyll A absorbs blue radiation and chlorophyll B absorbs red radiation, that is 4300 angstroms, this is 6800 angstroms. Now we will see the structure of chlorophyll. So here this is also containing of that is porphyrin ring, this is first pyrrole ring, second pyrrole ring, third pyrrole ring, fourth pyrrole ring, right. So here these pyrrole rings are substituted with different alkyl groups, that is R. So here R is the methyl group, so here also R, methyl, methyl, so here also methyl, right. So these four places the methyl group is substituted, means at first place, first, third, sixth and seventh. So this alkyls are methyl groups. So in the case of chlorophyll A, so at first place methyl group is present. In the case of chlorophyll B, at first place in the alkyl, that is formyl group, that is CHO group is present, right. So the R dash groups, that is R dash groups are called ethyl groups, that is C2H5, that is C2H5, and R double dash groups are vinyl groups. So R double dash group is a vinyl group which is present at 8th position, and R triple dash group is ester group. R triple dash group is ester group which is present here as well, right, and R dash 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 group is a long chain ester, that is CH2 CH2 COO C20 H39. So this is the structure of chlorophyll. So here this porphyrin ring is substituted with different alkyl groups, right. So here this in this second and third pyrrole rings, in this second and third pyrrole rings will also attached with the carbonyl group, will also attached with the carbonyl group. So this is the structure of chlorophyll. So here the central metal atom is magnesium. Magnesium is present as Mg plus 2. So here the four coordinated atoms are nitrogens of 4 pyrrole rings. 4 pyrrole rings. So now we will see the functions of chlorophyll. So here chlorophyll is a major constituent for the photosynthesis reaction. Okay, so it is the so now we will see the functions of chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a green pigment which is present in the green leaves, which is so now we will see the functions of chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is the green pigment which is present in the leaves, right. So here this chlorophyll is mainly responsible for the photosynthesis reaction. Photosynthesis reaction is carried through the chlorophyll only. So without chlorophyll there is no photosynthesis reaction. So this is the major reaction for the production of carbohydrates, which are the major energy sources for the animals as well as the major living organisms, right. So here the photosynthesis reaction is this, that is 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O in the presence of chlorophyll and light. So here it forms carbohydrates, that is glucose, C6 H12 O6 plus 6 O2 means. So here we will be getting two products, the two major products of photosynthesis reaction, that is one is carbohydrate, that is glucose, which is energy source for our human beings as well as different animals, and oxygen, which is very essential for the respiratory process of all animals, right. So here this chlorophyll and light, so here the without light this photosynthesis reaction will not happen, and without chlorophyll also this reaction would not takes place. So here in photosynthesis reaction this chlorophyll is acting as a photosensitizer. So here these two, that is 6 CO2, that is 6 H2O, means CO2 and H2O molecules so may not absorb the light radiation, so that this will not be activated, right. So here this chlorophyll, what it will do is this absorbs the light radiation and it will be get activated. After getting activation, this chlorophyll transfer the light energy which is absorbed to reactant molecules, so that reactant molecules will take the energy and the reaction proceeds, so that we will be getting the products. So right, so this is what is the role of chlorophyll in photosynthesis reaction. So it is mainly absorbing the light radiation and transforming that energy to reactant molecules. So this is called as photosensitizer. So photosensitizer is chlorophyll in this photosynthesis reaction, and chlorophyll is also helps in maintaining oxygen and CO2 balance in the environment. So because whatever the excess CO2 which is released in the environment, it takes in the preparation of photosynthesis reaction and it is giving oxygen as a product, so that it balances the oxygen as well as CO2 in the environment. So these are the major functions of chlorophyll, right. So in this chapter, so the major things that we have discussed here. So the first one is importance of sodium, potassium and chloride ions. So what is the role of these ions in different metabolic process of in our human body, right. Next is importance of magnesium plus 2 and calcium plus 2 ions. After that we discussed importance of Fe plus 2 and cobalt plus 2 ions. The next one is importance of nickel, copper and zinc elements, which are majorly present in enzymes, and what is the activity of those enzymes and what is the deficiency of these atoms, right. After that we discussed about porphyrin rings and metal porphyrins, in that the structure of hemoglobin and functions of hemoglobin. After that we discussed about the structure of chlorophyll and functions of chlorophyll. Okay, so these are the major points we have discussed in this bioinorganic chemistry. Thank you.